Hello, welcome to GeekyHiJynx, home of the mischief makers, and today we're looking at Slapface. It's another week and another Shudder movie, and my quest for the Shudder film of the year still continues. So far, not good. But before I go into what I liked and didn't like about this film, what's it all about? So Slapface is written and directed by Jeremiah Kipp and starring these people. I'm just going to pause it for a second, let you soak it all in. And we'll move on. So essentially, Slapface is about a boy called Lucas who's just lost his mum, and he's trying to deal with that grief the best way he can. And by doing so, he strikes up a really weird friendship with the rumoured monster that's meant to be living in the woods. They become friends, she becomes very protective, and she becomes very dangerous as a result. But it's down to Lucas to try and keep her at bay and stop her from hurting the people that he cares about. Now, one thing to note is Slapface that came out this year was also based on a short film of the same name that came out in 2018, and that was also written and directed by Jeremiah Kipp and starring relatively the same cast. So Lucas Hassel, who played the witch in the short film, came back to reprise that role for this film, which is pretty cool. But saying that, I've seen short films turn into longer films put on Shudder last year, and that was Fried Barry. Fried Barry was a short film made into a bigger film with a bigger budget on Shudder, and it was very forgettable and was just basically shock value. Shock value, the movie. I watched it a couple of times. It was random, it was crazy, but like I mentioned, severely forgettable. So going into this, I was hoping I was going to get the same experience. But before I go into what I liked and didn't like about this film, what did PG think about it?
Well, on paper it's good, but in reality it's quite forgettable.
Yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. But I'm going to go into a little bit more detail than PG, starting with what I liked about the film. Now, the acting for the most part, I must really stress that, was good. So Mike Mannings, who played the older brother, I forget his name, Looking Down, who played the older brother Tom, and you got Augusto Maturo playing the younger brother Lucas, who wanted to lost his mum, and was going through this turmoil, who actually meets the witch at the end. They were good. They were carrying the film, their relationship was pretty solid, I can believe they were brothers. It was very good acting on their part. I was engaged by them, and I'd like to see them in more things going forward. The rest of the cast, however, weren't so good. Very eye-rolling at times, especially these two twins. These two twins, they just reminded me of 90s bullies, like in American films, like the ones that would go past and push someone on a locker and go, nah, 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 look where you're going, loser. It was like that, and I was like, oh, that's great writing. But the two brothers were good. And as always with a Shudder film, I'm going to probably stop saying it now, because the cinematography is good. It was well directed. Obviously Jeremiah Kipp can direct a solid film. But overall the film looks very nice. Some very interesting shots, and but with the budget they've got, they did okay. And I love the creature, or the monster, or the witch in this case called Virago or Virago. I actually don't really care. But anyway, I was really impressed that they didn't use any CGI or greedy graphics that I could tell anyway. And it was all practical effects, because nothing sucks you out of a horror film than terrible CGI. If you can remember a film called Mama or Lights Out, the moment you see them and you see that crappy CGI, because what horrors tend to do with CGI is the eyes are always too bright, but then the body's really dark, so it looks like a really bad PlayStation 2 cutscene for a horror game. Takes you out immediately. You can't be scared of PlayStation graphics, so I appreciate the fact in this film it was all practical and everything was there. And I can appreciate this film was made on a budget. It didn't have millions behind it, so there's a lot of the same locations, not a big cast, but with what they had, what they did with him was good. This was like a modern day fairy tale of sorts. Kind of reminded me of Harry and the Hendersons, if anyone can remember that program. Not as like the witch didn't come to move in or anything like that and hide in the attic or something, but I was getting Harry and the Hendersons and The Boy Cries Wolf vibes with this film if you combine the two. And with this, I like the ambiguity of the movie, because it's kind of like Babadook and Night House, but nowhere near as good, because those two had things going on, and then when you watch the film and you watched it again and you put two and two together, you realise, okay, cool. You use this to get across this message. Well done. This tries to do it, but ultimately by the time you get to the end, it fails. Now, before I go into what I didn't like about this film, which is what kind of kills this film off, let's go into my comical observations. Now my first one was Lucas is near this dog that the witch kills. The witch kills a dog, the cardinal sin. You never hurt the dog. Dog gets killed off screen, like all the deaths. Again, I'll get to that in a second. But Lucas is covered in a dog's blood, meets up with his brother Tom and his girlfriend. And she's like, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's just dog's blood. And everyone's like, okay. And they go off screen, make an omelette sandwich. I don't know where they go. But everyone's so chilled about it. I was just thinking to myself, is this a common occurrence? Like kids being covered in dog's blood? Because no one's questioning it. There's also a scene in this film where the witch scratches the crap out of the girlfriend's car. And no one notices. It's a good day and a half. It's in the daylight. Even in the daylight, far away from the car, I'm like, I can blatantly see those scratches. How is no one seeing this? They eventually get seen. But again, when you watch this film, you're just like, how in the hell has no one seen those scratches? Now my third and most dumb and most random comic observation, it's mainly me, mainly how my mind works, but this film's called Slapface. And why it's called Slapface? Because in the beginning of the film, someone gets slapped, and it's like a way of dealing with things. So when the two brothers have tension, they slap each other, slap each other, slap each other, get it all out. You know, not talking, not shouting, not punching or punching back, they slap the crap out of each other. But anyway, this film's called Slapface. I think this film should have been called Making Potions, the movie, because I'm not lying to you. This film was very repetitive. And I'm going to get to that in a second with my negatives. But Lucas goes back to where he finds the witch, which is like in this abandoned asylum, which looks like the place that Owlman, the guy that does pranks on YouTube, haunts. If you haven't checked those videos out, they're hilarious. Watch them. But anyway, Lucas keeps going back to meet this witch, and all she seems to be doing is engaging him in a cutscene, which seems like she's making something for him. Like it was literally like, here you are, here's some squishy stuff, go and take this. It was like he was doing a mission, coming back to get potions and crap.
Hello, young traveller, and welcome to PG's Little Shop of Wonders.
Well, this is good luck for me indeed. I just got fighting a deadly dragon, and I'm in desperate need for some potions to top myself up. Can you help?
Well, unfortunately today we have no potions, but I do have the mystery gift, which I'm offering today for free.
Oh, this sounds splendid. I'll take that one, thank you very much.
Oh, that's perfect.
Oh! Ow, that really hurt. Look, you've almost killed me. Look at my health bar.
Oh, I'm frightfully sorry about that. Maybe if you buy a potion, it'll make you feel better.
Actually, that'd be amazing. Wait a second. Now, with my negatives, you probably thought, you mentioned some good points, like some good likes. And that's because there are some good things to like about this film. But unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, this was a short film that was made into a long film. And they just filled it with so much crap and repetitive scenes and filler. It was like wash, rinse, repeat. Lucas with brother, Lucas with girlfriend, Lucas with witch, Lucas with bully, back to the beginning. Dun 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 dun. Back to the beginning. Dun 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 dun. Back to the beginning. Dun 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 dun. And that was essentially the film. It just wash, rinse, repeat. And that was it. The film was just so repetitive, and it dripped by. Like it started off so strongly, like with those opening credits, and you meet the witch, and her like entrance is pretty creepy. I'll give the film that. But then it's just, she isn't creepy. She's not intimidating. She's not scary. I'm more scared of a potato than of this witch, because like I said, she was too much like a potion cutscene for me to be scared of her. And everything she does is off screen. Again, I keep mentioning that, and I'll get to it in a second. But this film drips by very slowly because of its repetitive scenes. And some of the characters in this, like the bullies, I told you, they're annoying. The other characters just forced in there, but the one character that was forced the most was the girlfriend character I brought up. Tom's, the older brother's girlfriend. They literally meet in a bar. They flirt for half a millisecond, and then they're living together the next day. I was so confused, because you know like how some films where you get a man and a woman, they meet in a bar, they're flirting, and then they actually end up being married, and they're just pretending to flirt, like pretending not to know each other. I thought maybe it was that. But no. They actually met, half a second of terrible flirting, and then she's in bed with him, and making omelets from him, and making like she's like a housewife. I thought I'd missed the scene. I know I was expecting some really cool, imaginative kills. I do apologise now, because there are none in this film. Every single one of the kills that happens happens off screen. I've seen more violence in Beauty and the Beast. Overall guys, is this a film I can recommend to you? Unfortunately it's not, because even though it's got a few good positives, probably the same amount as negatives, the positives are just okay at best. Yeah, it's got nice cinematography, great, that's not going to pull you in. The two leads were impressive, but the writing for them wasn't, and the rest of the cast, again, were kind of hokey. It was great to see practical effects with the witch instead of CGI, but you barely see her. That is one thing I didn't mention in my negatives, is you barely see the witch. She's in it hardly. You think, oh, she's the main character, she's on the poster, you're going to get some creepy sort of like messed up relationship, like a twisted fairy tale. What you go and think you're going to get, you're not going to get. The synopsis is a lie, unfortunately in this case. There's not one memorable moment, there's not one memorable death, there's nothing of note to really take away from this film apart from it's just not memorable. And on that note, I'm going to give Slapface a very generous 2 out of 5 Geeky Coins. It also gets a one-time spin and a Mobile Moan. So guys, that was my review of Slapface. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Was it a snooze fest or the greatest film you've ever seen? Come back to the comments to let me know, because I genuinely am interested. And if you'd like this video, drop one of those likes, because it always does help. But until next time, stay out of trouble.